Donald Trump's legal team is attempting what I guess you would call a legal Hail Mary with their attempts to get the documents charges against Donald Trump dismissed by Judge Eileen Cannon. In a flurry of motions filed late last week, Donald Trump's lawyers argued in two separate motions that the case should be dismissed on various grounds. Now, the first one, stupid enough as it is, they said, hey, Jack Smith, Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, didn't actually have the authority to appoint him as a special prosecutor. Therefore, case dismissed. That's not even a thing. Merrick Garland could have appointed me to be the special prosecutor if he wanted to, and it would be legal. And I don't even have a law degree. So he can appoint whoever he wants to be a special prosecutor. That one fails on its merits straight off. The second one, of course, a little bit more involved. The second one they say is that Donald Trump has immunity from prosecution, even though so far every single court that has looked at the issue of immunity said, no, you don't. I mean, most recently, of course, we had the appellate court that told him, no, you don't. But they're still now, months after the charges were filed, months after going through discovery, going through everything else, now they're telling Judge Cannon, oh, by the way, all this is moot anyway because he's immune from prosecution. And they say he's immune from prosecution because, of course, he had the authority to take the documents. He actually, they said, he declassified them and he gave himself permission while president to take the documents. So, you can't even prosecute him for it anyway. So he's totally immune. None of that happened, by the way. There has to be a record of these things happening in order for it to make them real. Now, Donald Trump, as president of the United States, did 100% have the authority to stand over documents and say, I declassify thee. He could do that. But it has to be recorded in order for it to be official. Paperwork does have to be filled out to declassify these. Trump just saying it can do it as long as the proper paperwork is then filled out. If the paperwork is not filled out, if there are no witnesses, which there are no witnesses in this instance, then it's not real. It's hearsay at this point. Inadmissible in any court in the United States for any reason. So that claim fails on its merits. The second one, of course, he's immune. Now, here's the thing about the immunity. The immunity that he is claiming in the documents case is a lot different than the immunity with the January 6th case. He says that, hey, I was doing my acts as president. I was giving a speech. These people rioted. That ain't my fault. I'm president. I give speeches. But the documents case, however, things are a little different. Obviously, taking documents is not a part of the president's official duties. Not to mention the fact that we also have to now look at the time frame of it. When did you take the documents? Because on January 20th, 2021, at exactly noon Eastern, you ceased to become president of the United States. Which means anything you did after noon Eastern on January 20th of the year 2021 was no longer covered by presidential immunity. If it was after noon Eastern on January 20th, that you put the documents into the truck and drove them to Mar-a-Lago, or even drove them to Mar-a-Lago prior to, loaded them up prior to noon, drove them after noon, you're not covered by immunity. You removed them from Washington, D.C., after you were no longer president, therefore you would not be immune from that. You were in fact a private citizen stealing government documents. Not to mention the fact that the presidential immunity, even if you did have it, would not cover things such as defying the subpoena, lying to the FBI, showing these documents to other individuals, and whatnot. None of this passes the smell test. And as I always say, if it was in front of any other judge other than Eileen Cannon, it would have already been smacked down. But because it's Cannon, we have no idea how this lunatic is going to rule, and she may in fact go with Trump on this, which honestly would be the worst thing in the world for Donald Trump, because then Jack Smith would just appeal it to the appellate court that has been very heavily against Judge Cannon. He would get it overturned, and in the process also end up getting Judge Cannon kicked off the case. So Trump had better hope Judge Cannon rules against him on this, because if she doesn't, It's probably going to be the last thing she ever does with this case. Well, folks, we have crossed that 1 million subscriber milestone, but rest assured, we are just getting started here at Ring of Fire. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel and make sure to like, share, and comment on the videos.